unapologetically T. And Charlotte.
Come here.
And Charlotte just got home, and I cut Sassy hair because Sassy's hair hadn't been cut since Dante had her, and she definitely was starting to look like a wolf. And the lady that we used to take her to get groomed, I could not find her number nowhere. So I took measurements of my own hands, and it looked like she got a PetSmart haircut.
PetSmart would have done better.
Charlotte said PetSmart would have done better. It's like who is this dog? Who does this dog belong? Don't put her in the camera. I butchered her, but it'll grow back.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
Stop! Oh my god! Oh, my cheeks hurt, bro. Look, when I looked at her, I was like, God damn! Fuck you! Y'all know, like,
you made her a rat.
She is a rat.
Her head ain't proportions right.
She was happy to get that fur up off her. She was. She ran around in circles. She started jumping at me. Like, she was happy.
She's shaking.
She'll be back straight in a month. In a month's time, she'll be alright.
It takes like till December for her hair to grow back.
Girl, she's gonna have to figure it out till I find a new groomer. But I miss the lady that used to do her. She used to do such a good job.
You look like a crack dog.
Don't call my goddamn dog a crack dog.
Look, she peering around the corner like a crack dog.
Leave my fucking... Shut your ass up and go upstairs. Bye. Bye. Charlotte is done. I'm gonna throw the water bottle at you. Oh, well, welcome to a day in the life in my house with my teenager. No, poor you. Now go up there because your hair need to be redone too. So
at least I ain't bald.
You said she ain't bald either.
Yes, she is.
No, she not.
Like
she got a low cut.
She look like a turkey. It look like you gave her a low taper fade. How do you even do that?
Bye. Goodbye.
I'm so confused.
Bye. All right. So, oh, that shit was funny. I messed the dog up, but shit, it'll grow back. It will grow back. That dog will not be bald headed for the rest of her life. Dog hair grow faster than yours and mine. But I don't know. I was talking about, being disciplined. Oh, this one isn't even about being disciplined, but this is like a early childhood memory. So I had never been taught to officially swim. However, I loved water since I could remember, and always had a trust and a respect for the water. So like, even though I could not, officially like swim, I knew how to float. I knew how to stay above water, and I just knew my lane. I wasn't afraid of water. I was good. However, the things that my mom and my dad, like in my early childhood, we would go to the beach, we would go fishing. Those was like when my mom would come to the visits, which would be before he had like a serious girlfriend. Like, she would always make sure she was with us when we did stuff. And I think he used to ask too, like, somebody need to watch her, blah blah blah. So but this particular time we at the beach again. My mom is there. This nigga asked me, can I swim? And yes, this nigga is gonna be this nigga. He asked me, could I swim? And I was like, I don't know. And he looked at me. He picked me up. This is the ocean. This is not a fucking pool. So I want you to be aware of that. Ocean has currents, waves, and all kinds of shit. A pool, it is still fucking water. So if you had a story about how you was thrown in the pool, multiply that times 1,000. So this nigga picks me up. I was probably about 7, still skinny, small, scrawny. Picks me up, tosses me into the ocean like because we were kind of closer to shore. He tosses me into the ocean in the deep part. I fought for my fucking life like a Navy SEAL. Like, literally. Yes, he was standing. You know, like, I feel like I was here. He was like, I don't even know how to explain the gap, but I was out here. He was here. And I feel like I fought for my life that day. So I've been fighting for my life all my life. I feel like Sophia from The Color Purple. All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my brothers, my uncles, blah, 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 blah. And I even had to fight my niggas. So I've had to fight. And that day, I thought I was going to die that day. I drank some water. And then once again, that's another comparison to pool and salt. Salt water choke your ass up quicker than pool water. Yes, it's water, but get some salt water in your goddamn lungs the wrong way. It's different. It feels like a quicker you're about to die. But however, I made it out that shit and I learned how to swim that day. So that kind of gave you a context into, you know, my fighting spirit. Them niggas was training me to be a fighter. Like, I literally came to this earth like, I'm not gonna say I ain't having in me, because there's a situation where it was a girl who I was a very young age too. It was before school age, and she just kept on bullying me. She was bigger than me. I was smaller than her. She just kept on bullying me, kept on fucking with me, kept on like doing stuff. I was like her Mikey. I think that's what it was, yeah, like her Mikey, like she just dragged my ass around and do whatever she wanted. I got sick of that shit one day, and she was hitting on me, and you know, like it got to a point where like her hits ain't even hurt no more, but it was just like the principal had kicked in, and I definitely, as a young fucking child, I went in the house and I was like, I got something for this bitch, and I went and got a knife. That's why I say I want to be transparent with y'all. Like, I'm not fit to fuck with. Like, if you've ever met me and you thought I was a pushover, I'm not a pushover. I definitely am not a pushover. I definitely just try to see the good in people. I try to, you know, give people grace, because I feel like I know what it is to suffer and be miserable. And even though I don't try to project my shit on other people, I still get it. And I get that other people, you know, typically do try to project that shit on other people. But I try to spare you, because I know that my level of crazy, when it kicks in, I lose control. And what you might deem as petty, I deem as justice. Justice for all. Like, so I know me, and I try to check me at the door, but I am going to tell people from here on out, like, don't play with me. Don't play with me. No, that doesn't mean I'm going to put my hands on you. I'm not, unless you put your hands on me. But don't play with me, because there will be repercussions. And, yeah, because I done let a lot of people slide over these years, and I'm not doing it no more. Like, you know, fuck around and find out. So, and I think everybody should treat each other with kindness, so that none of us have to fuck around and find out, because there's multiple people like me walking around that you are deeming as weaker or as a doormat, and truly, we are not. We are just trying to keep our crazy from hurting you. So I don't know. I just want to make that clear. Like, I'm no saint. And I was with the shits even before they made me with the shits. But I always knew that I did not like hurting people also. So, I still don't like hurting people. However, I feel like if you do something to me, then you deserve what the fuck you deserve. I'm not sugarcoating it no more. I'm not sparing you, because I used to pray to God and be like, oh, they know not what they have done, God, you know. And it's like, well, if you don't know better, then you need to learn. So, yeah, I feel like, yes, treat people with kindness. treat people with kindness. Do not try to get over on people just because you think they weaker or you think they dumb. They not seeing you. They see you. They not dumb. They see you. So that's for whoever that was for. And if you are one of the people that's like me, and you know, that was for you too. Stop smearing these people. No, don't hit them. You know, just allow the universe and God to do what it do. Like I'm not talking about no spell work. Like, I don't believe in spell work on people who do wrong to me. Like, I feel like I don't even have to do that. Like, God is on my side, and he don't like when you mess with me. So I feel like because he know my heart is pure, and he knows that in the darkness I have stayed solid. So I feel like and years ago I wouldn't even be able to talk like this, but like now, like, I've seen that in the darkness I have stayed and remained solid, loyal, and faithful. Doesn't mean I didn't make any mistakes. I've made mistakes. However, considering the fuck I've been through, I definitely stayed solid and did what I was supposed to do. So that warning was for somebody, I don't know, and for the people who can relate to me, this is for you. It's confirmation for you. Like, you are not to continue to be abused and keep dealing with folks. Cut them folks off. You ain't got to put your hands on them, but cut them off. Like, that's going to be their punishment, them losing you and more, right? Because you are the blessing in their life. That's how this thing works. Like, we are the blessings in each other's lives, and when you mistreat and misuse a blessing, you know, you gotta pay for that. That's just the natural order of things. So take that as you may. I've learned that to walk away. I've learned to stop serving, you know, people and things that don't give a fuck about me or serve me. I mean, a prime example, and I'm gonna put out a disclaimer. I have not talked to this coworker about how she made me feel, and I don't even plan on talking to her about how she made me feel. But as y'all all know, this is weird that it jumps, but as y'all all know, that I had quit my job, right? So I had quit my job. I gave my job plenty of notice. I had one supervisor came to me. I would do anything for her. I would do anything for her to this day. Like, she was an amazing woman. She had the utmost character in her position. She definitely, you know, was an example to me of, you know, how I would want to conduct myself. Like, she was awesome. She came to me, but she came to me before my job actually expired. And she needed me to transfer some files. I would do anything for her, and I tried to do anything for her. Cool. There was another person who isn't my supervisor, but she supervises other people. I just want to say, when I first came to this job, I did not feel welcome by her. And I do want to say that I don't think she's a bad person. I think she probably is going through some things of her own. And I also think that the atmosphere at the workplace that we have is not a good environment. So some people will come to work miserable and project shit on you. But I will say this, when I came, she did not try to train me. It was basically this hands-off attitude. Like, when I came, I didn't have my little name and title on the door. It was just not, I was just not welcome. Like, the front desk guy was the guy who trained me. The one who trained me, which he didn't get paid extra. He didn't even have to be told to do it. He did it, you know, because that's how his heart was set up. And that was my main location. So I did hop locations, but that was my main location. And I was in the office where she supervised. So, mind you, when I first started working there, I was given a set of keys, but I was told that, you know, even before I got my set of keys, that she did not even know whether the keys were there, but then she ended up finding the keys, and they were there, and we went on about our business. I would be trained by the front desk guy, and that's how it would go. So then when I ended up quitting, I told y'all, you know, I went up there, cleaned my office out. I brought in my laptop. I couldn't think of everything to bring in. Matter of fact, number one, like I said, I'm going to call him my deceased husband, because we were together for 11 years, and if Virginia did recognize common law, you know, we would be seen as such. So, but I'm going to say, like, I lost my deceased husband on Thanksgiving. Been going through this journey of self-exploration, finding myself, grieving the old me. I literally quit a fucking job, you know, and worrying about me and my child. So why do I get a text message yesterday, which would be technically my first day not working as an employee at that job, asking for keys and ID badge and all this stuff? And it's like, at first, initially, that kind-hearted me stepped in and was like, you know, I'm gonna get her the keys, and I'm gonna get her the stuff that she wanted. Like the badge, I lost it, I ain't worrying about that. Like, they can deactivate that shit. Every job I've had deactivated the badge. I kept the badge and they deactivated it. Like, I do not want to come back to that place. That's why I left that place. So initially I was like, I'm gonna get her the keys. That's my initial first thought. That's what I text her. However, then I started thinking about it, and it's like, bitch, you don't even got a car right now. Like, what you mean? And then it's like, bitch, you don't even work there no more. What you mean? And then it's like, bitch, didn't nobody even give you an exit? Like, they didn't even give you, you know, an exit thing where they say, like, come in, turn in these items, you know, clean out your office. Like, I set up the day that I was going to clean out my office. Nobody contacted me and was like, you know, turn these things in and blah, 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 blah. Like, why are you contacting me and I don't no longer work there? Like, you still trying to make me work. You still trying to make me burn gas just to bring some goddamn keys. Like, if y'all don't get a new set of keys made. And I feel like for too long I've been biting my tongue for people. And for her, she might be worried about her keys, but I feel like you really wasn't worried about your keys, because that whole time, like, even if she hadn't known, like, which I really don't think so. I think when I quit, everybody knew I had quit. But even if she hadn't known, she texted me and told me that she knew I came by last Thursday. So if you knew I came by last Thursday and you knew you needed the keys, why didn't you say anything, you know, when you found out? Why wait till the day that I am no longer employed by them? So I didn't have that conversation with her, and I don't think that I will, because I want to say this. She is a part of the reason I didn't want to come back. I felt used, because a lot of times I was helping her out, and she never really gave me recognition. Like, it would be other people from other departments that came in to help her out. She would get them recognition during meetings. She never really gave me recognition. I will say maybe once or twice she came to me and said thank you to my face. But I felt like she still didn't appreciate the literal help I was giving. Like, I literally was saying to my favorite job, you know, I need to help her because she was understaffed, because they weren't giving her any more people. I needed to help her. And she would literally do underhanded stuff I'm not going to discuss, but I do feel like, you know, like, I'm tired of biting my tongue for people. Like, I was not treated right. I was mistreated. I was used. I was, you know, taken for granted. And I think, you know, people will see that. Like, when I'm gone, you're going to see how much of a help I was to you, and how, you know, I didn't have to do that. Like, my contract only required me to do 20% of work at that location. the other, it was either 20% or 25%. I can't remember the percentages exactly, but it literally meant that I probably could do 2 hours a day of work that was geared towards that location site. All the rest of my work was supposed to be specifically for the Pathways program. However, I was doing 80% work over at the location site. Plus, I had to do my Pathways work, and then that started to lag because I could not do both, but I felt like it was a greater need here, right? And I will say, I did help her out because I felt sorry for her, but I also helped out because I felt sorry for the students. And that's one of the things where I went wrong, but I went right, because I feel like that's what I'm there for, period, anyway. I'm there for the students. So that definitely put me in this pickle, and that's why I didn't want to come back. I did not feel valued as an employee, and I did not feel I just did not feel good at the end of the day. Like, it has started to become this, like, I don't want to go to this place in the morning. And I feel like when it starts to get to that point, like, you know, I have grit and bared a lot of different jobs, and I'm just not doing it no more. I'm gonna do me. And I just had to get that out. I don't know why that triggered or that came up for me, but it did. And I didn't plan on talking about it because I didn't address her about it. However, well, the cat's out the bag now. If she see it this way, then she see it this way. But yeah, and even still, I don't have no hard feelings towards her. I just ain't jumping through no hoops and loops over no goddamn keys, and I don't work there no more. And that's just as simple as that. A lot of my coworkers didn't get to see this side of me, the don't give a fuck side, and I felt like some people took advantage of that. Like, I think most people take advantage of that. Like, a lot of people do not see me and see, you know, the shit that I've been through. They misread me all the time, and that's their loss. That's their fault. And some people see me right away, and I love y'all and appreciate y'all for that. And then there's some people who don't see me and they still don't mistreat me because they're good fucking people. And I love y'all for that too. So what else did I want to talk about? Traumatizing from my childhood. I don't know. That just triggered, but that just shows you like how all this stuff is connected. Like, what you go through in life ends up repeating itself into your life. It just keeps happening until you stand up to it and face it. But yeah, so I got a ice snowball thrown in my face. I did used to get disciplined appropriately sometimes, and I almost lost my life trying to learn how to swim. And yeah, they made a monster out of me. And then that's not even just the parents that made a monster out of me. There was a situation, like, there was a lady that lived next door to us who had like 10 kids, and I don't ever like feel like it matters how many kids you got as long as you're taking care of them. Like, I always say, you need money to take care of children. However, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this twice: if mentally you ain't prepared to share parts of you with all those different people, that's when I would say, you know, don't do it, slow down. But if you are mentally prepared and you want to, you know, give yourself to all of these little people and be touched the fuck out, because I only had one, and I just, like, I'd be like, how did y'all do it? Because it's hard. Like, that girl, she touched me out by the time she was like 2. I'm like, can you stop touching me? Like, I just don't, you know, I don't want a hug right now. Like, or can I go to the bathroom by myself? Like, just imagine if you had, like, multiple ones of those. Like, this is for the people that don't have kids, but just imagine. Like, I could not go to the bathroom without the dogs coming in the bathroom, the man coming in the bathroom. Like, I used to try to use the bathroom as an escape, and they still would fucking come in the bathroom. And, like, I typically like to use the bathroom with the door open, but I even started to close the door, and they still would come in. Like, even with the dog, like, she would, if I left a crack in the door, like, she would bust through the door, like, what you doing by yourself? Like, you can't be by yourself. So, like, I don't knock women who have multiple kids. Like I said previously, my grandmas both had, over 10 kids. So, and that was the ones that survived. So, I don't judge in that department, but I will say this. I will say that, she had her 10 kids and she was not raising her 10 kids. They were kind of raising themselves, and that's just from me looking back on it. But I'm pretty sure she was doing the best that she could, right? So, one of her sons, which was close to my age, it was a point when I was super young. Like, my mom would not let me go outside. I called at the jumping off the porch stage. Like, you could not go outside without, leaving this perimeter, this area. If I'm not watching you or I'm not outside, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, at that point, I was super young. So, I was still on the porch. And at this particular time, I was still in the fucking house. So, I was in the house. He's walking outside. I'm at the window looking outside because I feel like I'm in prison, right? I can't go outside. I can just see it through the screen. And he comes by the window and he tells me to come closer. And then I come closer. He said, that's not close enough. And then I come closer and he winds his hand back and smacks the shit out of me, right? So I just immediately start crying, right? So my mom, once again, was like, I wanted to beat the shit out of him and his mama, but I did not, because why the fuck did you keep coming closer? Like, he could have told you whatever the fuck he wanted to tell you right then and there. And I agree with her, right? My parents was teaching me survival skills because they knew that I was coming up in a world that was fucked up. However, I still feel like if it was my child and he had smacked my child, I would have beat the shit out of him and his mom. We would have had to have a conversation. I would have whooped kids' ass that day. But there would be an instance, though, that my mom did have to beat the shit out of his mom. And she ended up, almost getting a charge for that one. But the judge ended up seeing through what was going on. Yeah, that situation was crazy. Like, if anybody that grew up with me, that lived in the neighborhood I lived in, like, y'all remember that day. It was like 3 paddy wagons. It was traumatizing. Like, I can laugh at that shit now, but as a kid, like, I was the one that had to call the police because my mama kept on fighting that lady, like, and but what ended up happening was with that same lady, and this is just the shit I grew up seeing, like, as a kid. With this lady, I remember my best friend was over the house. I will say her name, Zarvi, because I don't have nothing bad to say about her. Like, we was really, really cool at a young age. But, yeah, she was over the house, and the way our backyards was set up was like they could, they was in their window and they could throw stuff over to, because we was right next to each other. We lived in the townhouses, which was Section 8, and, they lived right next to us. So if they're in their window, they could throw stuff in our backyard. So me and Zarvi in the backyard playing, and they had first put pee in a water bottle and was spraying it on us and told us it was piss. And then to top it all off, they took used sanitary napkins and was throwing them at us in the yard. And so, like, I ended up running and going to get my mom. I told my mom, like, what they were doing. And I saw my mom, like, flash the fuck out. Like, I saw demon time. And anybody that know my mom, whether you family or neighborhood, like I said, my mom was not fit to be fucked with. And I immediately was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that shit because she's about to go hurt her. And my mom did. My mom came to her door, knocked on her door. She wouldn't come outside. My mama was like, you better come the fuck outside. And basically her boyfriend made her come outside. He told her she had to go outside. My mom didn't know, but she did have like a weapon. And my mom was beating the shit out of that lady. And she did end up stabbing my mom. And my mom didn't know. And when my mom came back in the house, I was like, oh my God, mom, like you bleeding. And I'm like, this is a super young age. I probably definitely was still like in elementary school, like young elementary school. And I'm like, oh my God, mom, like you're bleeding. You're bleeding everywhere. Like, um, you need some help. And my mom like immediately like was like, what? I'm bleeding? And she went back outside to fight this bitch again. And I was like, oh my God, like, you need to shut the fuck up. Like, because I'm just feeling like this is my fault. Like, as a kid, I'm feeling like this is my fault. And, like, every time I open my mouth, it shit just get worse. So when my mom went back out there again, that's when I called the police because I was like, my mom is going to kill her. Bring us some help. Like, I need some help. And that my brother was like 7 years older than me. Like he just let my mom be rogue. Like I think his dad told him at an early age when cause his dad knew my mom was like hot headed and stuff. Like so his dad told him at an early age like if she arguing with her men, if she, like arguing with anybody, like, you stay out of it, like go in your room and manage your business. And that's what my brother used to do. But with me and my mama was like, it was like glue. Like, so whatever she had going on, I had going on, like, and I'm going to make sure she's safe and she all right. So I felt like the safest thing I could do, because I can't break her up and I won't get in the middle of and getting hit. I was like, I'm going to call the police. Man, it took, I'm going to tell you, when Flavor Flav said, that little song about 911 and how they take a long time to come in our communities, if that shit wasn't the truth, like, I think my mom beat the shit out of that woman, like, multiple times before the police came. And it was hair everywhere, like it was just a scene. It looked like a crime scene. And by the time they did get there, they did come with like multiple paddy wagons. They had multiple police cars. Like it just looked like somebody had got killed outside. And I remember like my mom going in a paddy wagon. Like I've had plenty of like, and it's messed up, but I have plenty of stories like where I saw my mom like get locked up. Like I always tell people, like my mom a fucking gangster. Like I don't care what nobody says. She came from the country, but she was not fit to fuck with. And I definitely was a gentle child. Like I was not a child who typically, was with the shits. Like I had to learn how to be with it. And she definitely, was an example of how like she wasn't gonna let nobody disrespect her. But it was moments where it was confusing, right? Where she didn't step in. I think that will be, that's her own thinking and what blocked her from it. We all have our own thinkings, and, when you raised off survival mode anyway, you ain't thinking straight to me, period. Like, you think with survival. So she did end up getting in trouble for that, but the judge ended up dropping charges. Every time my mom got to fighting, it was behind her kids. I will say that. Like every time she got to fighting, it was behind her kids. And sometimes she was going to get into a fight because it was behind her mouth and her drinking. Like if she got drunk and you got her fucked up, like she went from 0 to 100 real quick. She was a much more grounded person when she was sober, but when she was drunk, like I done heard her cuss people the fuck out there. Like I would have had to fight her if it was me. Like the shit she done said out her mouth, and I'd just be like, I couldn't walk next to this bitch and she done told me some shit like that. Like she told one lady, nope, I'm not gonna even say it, I'm not gonna repeat it. But yeah, so my mom would protect me, but my protection in life would be confusing. So, but yeah, that little boy, he smacked the shit out of me. And she ain't do nothing. She was like, she was like, next time you won't come closer to no window. You won't do that, will you? And I was like, well, I mean, I felt like, he had to tell me something, but I learned that day, like, yeah, tell me right here. So, yeah, and there's a lot of lessons that I had to learn, even because I felt like socially I was awkward too. I was not socially like other kids, and I would find my friends throughout life, and they were just as weird and different as I was, and I wouldn't even say like I use weird because that's what society has said, but I would just say that they were like intelligent and and they did not fit into the norms of society. So I would find my friends, but I definitely felt overall like I did not fit in. It did not matter whether it was a white environment or it was the hood black environment. I felt